Hey guys, today we're going to be installing Kali Linux on this MacBook Air. Now I picked this up off of eBay for, it was around a little under $200, including tax and everything else. It was like around $195 or so. This is a 2012 MacBook Air. It has an i7 in it and 8 gigs of RAM and a 250 gig SSD. So pretty reasonable system for running Kali Linux, even though it is pretty old. The only downside, as far as I can tell, is that this is actually, the resolution is a little less than 1080p, which is kind of disappointing, but the screen still actually looks pretty amazing. It doesn't even give you that flickering or anything when you look at the screen with a camera. So you don't even necessarily have to do a screen capture. I can capture what's on the screen and the keyboard and the laptop itself, which is great. So it looks a whole lot better than like the Chromebooks and some of the Intel, some of the quote-unquote PC hard drive I've done this on. So anyways, let's take a look at the exact version of this just so you can see. Now, it's going to look a little bit small in the video. I can't zoom in much more without it looking blurry, but it is the model A1465. So that's the MacBook Air this is. So it's the 11-inch mid-2012 MacBook Air. So yeah, let's open this up and take a look at it first. So we're gonna boot, so it's already booted up actually. So let's take a look at this. Now you'll notice the screen looks pretty, pan up a little bit here. Yeah, the screen looks pretty nice on this. You know, a lot of times when I record laptops and stuff with lesser screens, there's some flickering and the screen on the video, it doesn't look as nice to my camera. Now it looks pretty reasonably good. So it's a pretty decent looking system. Yeah, it came like this from eBay, came with a default password. I actually changed the password for a demo in a previous video. So if you want to see how to reset the macOS password, if you don't know it, check out that video. I may have posted that, or I might post it after this one, but check in my video history. It should be there. I'm going to post it around the same time as this one, but I do have another video showing how to reset the password for macOS, if that's something you're interested in. If you just want to see how to install Kali Linux on a MacBook Air, I'm going to show you how to do that. I should point out this is a bare metal install of Kali Linux, so I'm not installing this on a VM or anything. I'm doing a bare metal Kali Linux install, I guess native, you call it native, native bare metal. So basically I'm just not using a VM. I'm directly going to install it to the hard drive of this system and wipe out macOS. So before I do that, let's take a quick look at the system just so you have an idea. Have a default password, well, you know, just a test password on there because I'm going to wipe this out. Anyways, I wanted to show you what I'm currently running on here. So about this Mac, so we have macOS Catalina version 10.15.7 on here. You know, there we go. Here's like the, you know, serial number, the video card, 8 gigs of RAM, 2 gigahertz dual core i7. Yeah, so that is our hardware. We don't really need to see, yeah, see there's our hard drive, 250 flash storage, you know, so on and so forth. With displays, yeah, you can see the display is only, you know, 1366 by 768. So not, you know, it's not 1080p, but it's still, and I apologize for the camera shaking there. I kind of got a tripod right in front of me, between me and this laptop. But yeah, that is it. We might be able to tell a little bit more from, yeah, just some more specs and stuff to look at. There's the cache and whatever else. And let's look at the disk utility. This is our current disk layout. This is kind of how they do things these days with APFS. This is how the volumes look. So anyways, we're going to wipe this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut this down. So shut down. And I haven't installed Kali Linux in a little while, so I forget off the top of my head what options I'm gonna need. I've already downloaded it. I have it on this drive right here. I feel like, you know, showing you how to download this gets, you know, I do it over and over every time I install something. No one wants to see that. And there I am in the reflection of my screen. How about that? Yeah, you can see I'm using my iPhone to record and stuff on a tripod. Anyway, yeah, so if anyone does want to see how to create this, I actually used the DD command on, I just downloaded the ISO and used the DD command on my Ubuntu box to write the image to this thumb drive. So yeah, if you do want to see, if you want me to make a video especially on how to do that, let me know down in the comments. but I'm kind of assuming that's like out of the scope of this video, how to download Galley and put it on a thumb drive. Anyways, stick your thumb drive right in here. Yeah, it'll probably work on the other side, but this is the side that it's been booting on for me. So got our Kali Linux thumb drive in there. Now we're gonna push the power button to start it on, and as soon as we hear that boot up tune, we are going to hit the option button right here. Now, if you have a PC keyboard connected to this, these two buttons are gonna be swapped. So the option button is gonna be over here, the command button is gonna be over here. Basically, the command button is your Windows button on a Windows keyboard. So these are swapped around here. Basically hit the option button, right? Or hit the one on this side if it's a PC keyboard, if it's a Mac keyboard or built-in keyboard, just hit this one right here. So hit the power button, hear that tune, hit this button right here and just hold it down and wait. And it shouldn't take too long to come up with yeah, and there we go. That was pretty quick, faster than getting into recovery mode. Now I'm gonna pan up to look at the screen, and all right, so we have our Mac OS disk. This is our hard drive, obviously, and you know, 2 partitions for our thumb drive. Now, in my case, it's the first one. I am not sure off the top of my head. I did not look at the partitioning on this. I just wrote the image and didn't look at it. So I don't know if one of these is boot and one is not, or if it's not gonna work with one or the other. If one doesn't work for you, try the other. With me, the first one here did work. I've seen some of the guides on how to do this will show you that one of these will show up as a Windows drive. It'll be labeled Windows because Mac OS sees all, you know, non-Mac OS drives as Windows. You know, or that might have been after you dual boot. That might have been a dual boot thing, I forget. Any case, this is what shows up for me, and all I do is click this first disk here, then go down, hit the little arrow here, and boom, we are booted off of our thumb drive. Now we're booted off. We have the option to choose our installer. So we're gonna go with graphical install this time. Now I believe the, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the trackpad, or yeah, the pad down here is not going to work in this installer. So you'll see having a little bit of trouble selecting anything. So I believe it's supposed to work after getting this up and running. If not, that'll be an issue to resolve. So we're going to see how well that works. This is kind of like a learning process and a demo just to see what it's actually like doing this for real. So I have not installed this on the system yet. So my first time doing this with this particular piece of hardware. So we're gonna, oh yeah, and if you want to, so you can actually select things. Now I'm gonna do this all with the keyboard. Now if that becomes a problem, I'm just gonna plug in a mouse. A mouse will work just fine with this. But for now, I'm gonna try to do it without a mouse. And hopefully this comes up and the trackpad works just fine after. So you can, if you want to switch between, you know, from this this list over here to one of the buttons, use the tab button. For those of, I kind of take this for granted, but that's how I'm doing it. Hit the tab button, and see it'll go to the go back button, the continue button. And actually it's only going between those two things. All right, okay, so in the up arrow is selecting on this. All right, so we're gonna go with English anyway. All right, continue, hit spacebar to click that button. All right, United States. Now hit tab to go over to that continue button and spacebar. Now American English, all right, tab over, spacebar again. All right. So taking a sec, but not too bad. See, I feel like this is I feel like this is pretty recent. I mean, this is old. This is 10-year-old. So I'm recording this video in the year 2020, just for reference. I should have said that at the beginning, but yeah, this is a 2012 MacBook, so it's a 10-year-old MacBook, and I feel like this is a pretty decent piece of hardware. Not going to be anywhere near as good as something that came out this year, but it's still pretty good. It doesn't feel like a piece of junk like some of the non-Apple stuff that I've picked up. Not to knock non-Apple stuff too much. There's some great non-Apple hardware out there. Just yeah. Anyways, I am not going to install wireless. I'm going to see how this works without getting a network. I don't want to connect to the network right away. So I'm going to see how this works. These are, networks to connect to. I'm going to skip connecting to a network for now. See how that works. And does this want to work without connecting to the network? All right, go back, and go back. Does this give me the option? All right, okay, Debian installer menu. Configure the network. So let's just skip ahead. I probably should configure the network just for demo purposes. All right, set up users and passwords. I'm gonna create a new user, full name for the new user, user1. I'm not too creative with my names. I just use that for all my default users. And I'm gonna put a password in. So I am going to pan up here real briefly and type in a password. Not a super secure password, but I'm gonna probably be changing that later. Now pan back down. Now, I don't want to configure the regular. It is trying to make me configure the network again. Okay. I might very well configure the network. All right, so I'm going to connect to, I'm going to do this because I want the installer to move ahead as it normally should. Tree frog. Yep. Now I'm going to type in the password. So I'm going to pan up again. All right, so here we are continuing. I actually just typed in my password, but I cut away because it displayed the password in without obscuring it. So yeah, I cut away for a second there. Anyways, I did connect to my wireless network. Or it's still going through the configuration, but I put the configuration in there. And let's see here. And I'm going to stick with the default host name for now. I don't want to set a domain. Probably should have set a domain. I should have picked something. All right, configure the clock, Eastern. So I'm going to use the entire disk, and I don't care to set up LVM. I used to do that, but I don't prefer to use it anymore. So I'm going to skip using LVM, and I'm not going to use the largest free space because there probably isn't any. I imagine it's all macOS file system. So, and I'm not dual booting or anything. So I'm going to continue, use the entire disk. All right. So first one is my hard drive. The second one is my disk, that my USB drive that I booted off of. Definitely don't want that. So we're gonna stick with this this first one, the hard drive. And let's see, all files in one partition. That is fine. I know you can do something like, you can have separate partitions. It's a good idea to have var as a separate partition because it fills up with logs. Your system's not gonna, it's not gonna cause issues for your system. Doing that, like if your file system does fill up, it won't be able to create temp files, and a lot of tools will just stop working because they can't create temp files. So tools that don't even need disk space for anything other than just creating a temp file. So, and that can cause serious issues with your system. So you don't want it to fill up. So var is usually where logs and stuff like that, var for variable length file system, so you expect a lot of data there. It's a good idea to keep it separate. I generally only care about that with a server. Not a bad idea for a desktop system, but really not necessary, and it just overcomplicates things and eats up extra hard disk, and I'd prefer to just get more more hard drive space and not have to waste it by putting it on a separate disk. So yeah, it's a trade-off and everything, but I'm going to put all files in one partition. And I remember way back, almost 20 years ago, I used to do elaborate partitioning setups where you put, USR and home and var and stuff like that all on separate file systems. I think that's mostly pointless, but it really depends on your use case. Anyways, moving along here. All right, so this is what it's going to look like by default. So we're gonna have a swap. We're gonna have swap space and an extension for file system for root. So let's give this a shot. Let's continue. And we want to, yes, write the changes. All right, so we only have the core system installed apparently. So Kali's default is XFCE. I kind of like to just stick with the default for now. I know I personally prefer KDE, but yeah, I'm gonna stick with the default for now. Let's see, you can customize it, blah, blah, blah. All right, I think this is, sorry, the default selections below will install with its standard desktop environment and tools. Okay, so I believe currently, as of like right now, the core system is already installed is what it's telling me, and that it is going to install this stuff here. All right, so that's all fine. We're gonna skip GNOME and KDE. Yeah, as you can tell, I have not installed Kali or it hasn't been that long since I've installed Kali, but yeah, I haven't done a ton of Debian installs, mostly just like Ubuntu and Arch. So anyways, it's been a while, but let's continue on here, installing even more software. All right, there we go. Looks like it finally finished. Let's see, time to boot into it. Make sure so that, all right. Let's continue and see how this. All right, make sure to remove the media. And here we go. Comes up with Kali Linux right away. And there we go, Kali Linux login. All right, so let's see here, user 1. And there we go, Kali desktop loaded. I'm gonna pan my camera down a little bit here. And there we go. All right, so, and trackpad is working nicely. I'm just gonna, I guess there's not much point in that unless I'm gonna move this back a little bit just to demonstrate that. See, Mac trackpad working great. It did not work during the installation. Works great now, I believe, because they probably just used the default or close to default Debian installer, and that tool did not have it built in, and they did not build it into the tool, but I imagine they built the drivers for this touchpad into Kali Linux itself. And I'm speculating, but I guess that's probably the reason for that. Anyways, yeah, there we go. Kali desktop installed. Let's poke around a little bit. I'm not going to demo too much right now today. I'm probably gonna have a few more videos coming up where I show you different things we can do with this, you know, scanning systems, doing security checks, that kind of stuff. Probably gonna poke around with some of the tools. I'm not sure how much security stuff I want to do on my channel. I do want to do a lot more security related videos, but some of them I feel like they might, you know, certain security related things might, you know, go against, you know, the terms of service for, you know, either ad networks or YouTube or whatever else. It's just getting into a tricky area where I'm a little cautious moving my channel in that direction, but I'd love to do a ton more security related stuff, and I'm probably going to do quite a bit more with this system. So yeah, stay tuned for those videos, at least some of them. This video I'd like to just poke around at least a little bit. So yeah, we're going to do that today. Yeah, definitely hit that subscribe button. And, you know, because you're not going to want to miss out on any of those upcoming videos or any of our other videos. We do a lot of stuff like 3D printing, electronics, servers, Linux, Windows, Mac OS. We cover basically everything, everything tech related, lots of great stuff, taking things apart, you know, repairing screens on phones and stuff, like a huge range of great tech stuff. Raspberry Pis, single board computers, stuff like that, stuff you're not going to want to miss out on. So yeah, definitely hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell icon so you don't, you know, otherwise YouTube's not going to let you know when we do come out with new videos. So there's that. Anyways, let's just poke around a little bit. Normal Kali stuff. You're going to get this on, this is basically a normal PC install. Like, I didn't install a special Mac version for this. I installed, you know, it's just the Intel version. This is like the default version that they give you. So this is the same, this would be the same USB drive you would install on a PC. So yeah, Task Manager right here, that's kind of a nice feature, I guess. Yep. There's our wireless network there. You know, basic sound controls, notifications, and we still have supposedly 51%. So the battery's been holding up pretty well. I think we were 80 or 90% when I think it was closer to like 80% when I started this. So I recorded a couple other videos with this MacBook before recording this one. Yes, I think that, yeah, it's been holding up pretty well for an installation. I mean, I guess it's a MacBook Air and it should last a good long while. Yeah, this is the time. It is now, yes, it's a little over 30 minutes past midnight right now. Lock it, log out, stuff like that. All right, yeah, so pretty standard stuff. Standard, you know, the File Explorer and stuff. Normal Linux stuff, right? You get your multiple desktops. So slightly customized XFCE desktop, you know, with your Firefox and whatever else. So that's all fine and great. Comes with a lot of bookmarks, useful bookmarks for security related stuff. Customized Firefox theme and all that. Let's see, wallpapers. Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, anyways, I'll look at that later, but yeah, info gathering. So it comes with the normal tools you would get, info gathering tools, yeah, like DNS analysis, all this other stuff, a lot of analysis stuff, Net Discover, Nmap, Recon NG, so on and so forth. All the normal vulnerability analysis, web application analysis, database assessment, password attacks, has like John the Ripper, Encrack, Medusa, a bunch of other stuff, Hashcat. I remember, oh wow, look at that Oftcrack. Wow, it has a lot of great stuff on there. Yeah, wireless attacks, Bluetooth tools, Kismet. Kismet has changed a lot over the years. I believe, if I remember correctly, last time I used that as an Aircrack. As far as I know, like I've only ever used Aircrack from the command line. That might just be a link to the command line tool, and they wanted to have a link on your menu here. I believe that's something they do a lot. Yeah, what else? Yeah, a lot of Metasploit framework related stuff. Sniffing and spoofing wire, has your Wireshark. I remember back when that was called Ethereal. Wow, look at that, back doors, all kinds of stuff. I only installed the default. I didn't install every possible tool you could possibly install. I believe this was like a 3 or 4 gigabyte image for the install media. Man, the full install with everything you possibly have is more like 9. So I believe there are more tools you can install from the repo, but I have not looked into that yet. Wow, a lot of PowerShell related stuff. That's pretty neat. Forensic stuff, reporting tools, social engineering. All right, because they didn't want to leave that out, and you need tools on your PC for that apparently. A lot of this is all documentation and stuff, so that's pretty nice. I don't know that I'm going to actually start anything up right now. I'm not going to actually do a whole lot. All right, yeah, so here we go. This is what you get with AirCrack. It just brings up the tool, so it just runs the tool for you. So yeah, not much point in that. So basically it just brings up the terminal. Let's take a look at this. You can just launch the terminal. They have a little launcher there, which is nice that they do that by default. That's one of the first things I do when installing a Linux system. So AirCrack NG. Okay, yeah, this is basically what you get when you launch it from the, I believe, from the menu here. Anyways, wireless stuff. All right, Kismet. Wait a minute, is that? Oh, okay, so I'd launched Kismet before. So Kismet is also giving you this. You launch it from the command line and you give it options. And I would imagine, yeah, so AirCrack NG is gonna be the same deal. It just launches a command. So, yeah, there we go. What else should we take a look at? We should probably look at Nmap, one of the first things you're gonna think of. Okay, so Nmap is just gonna, same deal. It probably shouldn't be on that menu. This is just like an inventory of what's installed. Some of these are actual GUI tools. Actually, I want to try, is AuthCrack? I don't even remember actually. Okay, AuthCrack is not. So yeah, and Oft is, I guess this is like this is basically you know, a different version. It's supposed to do the same thing as Loft, like Loft with an L, L-O-F-T, but it was like spelled with a 0 to be cool or whatever, L0FT, but it was one of the earlier people who worked with you know, Windows landman hashes and stuff. I forget his name. It's been so long since I looked at this, but I believe it's the same person who worked on I believe he worked on the original Samba code, but don't quote me on that. I could be very wrong on that. I haven't read up on this in like almost 20 years or so, probably actually 20 years now. It's been a long time, but yeah, long time ago we used to use LoftCrack. I believe that was just a Windows tool too. But I believe it was worked on by the same guy who did a lot of the Samba code, if I remember correctly. I could be totally wrong about that, but this is AuthCrack, which based on the name, I'm assuming it does all the exact same stuff. But I have not even looked at this in the longest time. So I'm gonna close this, and yeah, this was Nmap. So yeah, same thing as if you would run it like this. Nmap. All right. Anyways. Actually, what is my IP address? So I'm on the 0 network, right? And I forget the parameters off the top of my head. So I believe I'm scanning my home network. At the same time, I'd like to see if ZenMap is even on. It should be. I can't imagine why they wouldn't have it by default. ZenMap. All right. No, they don't have it. What? And let's pan up here. And No installation candidate. All right, I'll have to look into that. It's interesting. Maybe it's been decommissioned or something. Maybe, who knows? However, actually, the following packages replace it. NDIF. Wait. Reading ZenMap is not available, but is referred to by another packages. This may be meaning blah blah blah. However, the following NDIF. All right. Anyways, I will have to come back to that. This is kind of out of the scope of what I wanted to do in this video today. So let's see. Has this this could take a while. It's scanned a few hosts. Ping scanning. All right, whatever. We mostly just wanted to show you that you can use Nmap. Whoops. All right, so there we go. Scan myself. What else do I want to scan? Maybe like the default gateway. So you see a few ports are open on my router. So probably more ports than I would like to know. That's probably pretty reasonable. Those are somewhat reasonable ports to have open, I think. All right, anyways, enough of that. So yeah, this was Kali Linux on a MacBook Air. Yeah, pretty neat for, you know, something with this nice build quality, nice Apple logo there. Kali Linux. All right, this was pretty excellent. And yeah, I'm pretty thrilled with how well this went. The only real hiccup or bump was the fact that we could not use the trackpad during the installation process. We could have done a text-based install also, but it looks like the graphical installer ran just fine. And we have a nice working version of Kali Linux installed. So I'm actually kind of happy with this. This is the latest version of Kali Linux at the time. Right now, this is September 2022. Latest version of Kali Linux, and an old 10-year-old MacBook Air from 2012. And I'm happy with Kali Linux and with the MacBook Air. So I'm happy all around. So a pretty good setup and a pretty good combo. So do leave a comment down below if you know something I don't know, not just for me, but for the next person that comes along and watches the video. Any comments, questions, criticisms, whatever you want to say, leave a comment down below. Also, might want to give me a thumbs up. And you're probably going to want to hit that subscribe button because we have a ton of other great content coming out. Well, a lot of similar stuff to this, but also we cover servers, coding, systems, automation, 3D printing, Raspberry Pis and single board computers, electronics, all sorts of great tech related stuff. We take things apart. We do all kinds of great stuff. You're not going to want to miss all that. So yeah, hit that subscribe button and also hit the little bell icon. Otherwise, YouTube won't let you know when I come out with new videos. So that is pretty much it for today. More coming up in the future. Definitely keep an eye out for that. Hopefully you found this useful. If not, at least this was entertaining, hopefully. As always, thanks for watching, and we will see you guys on the next video.